Good afternoon. Welcome. This is a ParkTV 16 sports production. We are on location at the campus of Benilde-St. Margaret's baseball team, where the Red Knights of the boys varsity baseball team are hosting a 2018 Section 6 AAA baseball sectional playoff. And tonight they are hosting the Waconia Wildcats. Both these teams come in seeded in this tournament. Benilde-St. Margaret's seeded number 1. Waconia seeded number 5 will meet in the second round matchup. Hello everyone, I am Robert Christensen, happy to be here with you, bringing you all the play-by-play stats and commentary on the action that is about to begin. The temperature here is 84 degrees. It's a beautiful, partly cloudy afternoon, and we do have some strong winds out of the north-northwest at about 12 miles an hour. If we can get a shot of the flags out there, we can see how windy it is. The ball will be blowing out to right field. But as we begin here, there are our starting lineups tonight. Jaden Vanderhoff leading off for the Wildcats, playing second base. Nolan Vanderhoff batting second and playing shortstop. Batting third, Max Kallenberg, and playing third base. Ross Lieberman playing left field, batting fourth. Jake Anderle in center field, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Dawson Martin, is the designated hitter. And batting seventh is Will Coppy, who is in right field, followed by Ben Hester, batting eighth at first base, and Robbie Smith batting ninth. And then the pitcher is Jack Yankee for the Wildcats, and we're about to begin here. Stepping in for his first at-bat is Jaden Vanderhoff. Jaden is batting 167. He has 18 at-bats and 3 hits on the year. And he takes strike one. The starting pitcher for Benilde is Dylan Drees. Drees comes in with a 4-0 record over 6 starts with a 3.37 ERA. Again, a gorgeous day just underway here. 2 pitches into the first inning of this 2018 Section 6 AAA baseball tournament. This is round number 2 in this double elimination tournament. Drees' third pitch is a strike. So now 2 strikes, 1 ball to Jaden Vanderhoff, leadoff hitter here, top of the first. Drees delivers, and that ball is low in the dirt, so ball 2. 2-2 the count to Jaden Vanderhoff. Dylan Drees going from the stretch here rather than the windup. Most pitchers with no one on base. I'm just noticing Dylan Drees is pitching from the stretch, which means he's not doing the windup, which is usually the delivery start when they have a man on base. But he must feel more comfortable going from the stretch rather than the windup, and he delivers the 2-2 pitch, and that is in the dirt. Nice save there from that ball getting away, although it wouldn't have caused any problem. No one was on base. But now the count is full here, this first at-bat. This is the McQuinn Athletic Complex on the campus of Benilde-St. Margaret's. And the payoff pitch, swung on and missed. Strikeout for Dylan Drees. So nice start for Mr. Drees, recording his first strikeout. But he did exercise a lot of pitches doing that. At least 6, so he's got 6 pitches already, but 1 strikeout. So great start for Benilde-St. Margaret's here in the top of the first. And that will bring up Nolan Vanderhoff. He takes ball 1 from Drees, so 1-0 to Nolan Vanderhoff. Obviously must be related to Jaden. And that next pitch is a little high, possibly inside. So 2-0 is the count. There's Dylan Drees. Number 21, the pitch on the way, and that ball is also low. So now 3 straight balls following the initial strikeout by Dylan Drees. We'll see if Nolan Vanderhoff is going to be taking all the way on this one. he'll be hitting away. Usually you make him throw a strike, and he was taking all the way, and so there is, following the first strikeout by Dylan Drees, it's followed by his first walk, and that now will bring up batting third, Max Kallenberg, the third baseman. So man on first, taking a pretty good lead over there is Nolan Vanderhoff, and yeah, it draws a throw over from Dylan Drees right away. So obviously the Red Knights are concerned about the base runner, Jaden Vanderhoff, and the potential steal. And there's a nice pitch by Dylan Drees, strike one. Nice comeback there after a 4 straight ball walk to Nolan Vanderhoff. Okay, so no balls, 1 strike. Max Kallenberg is batting .250. Drees taking an awful amount of time there. The umpire calls timeout. I don't know if the batter stepped out or if the umpire did that on his own. The batter must have wanted to take a break. Drees was taking quite a little time there, so good move by Kallenberg, and he swings on that pitch, catches a piece of it. So now quickly in the hole is Max Kallenberg, the third baseman. On the year, he has 12 at-bats. Well, I don't know if these stats are up to date, but through his first 6 games, no, they are not up to date, but he was batting .267. All right, Dylan Drees with his no ball, 2 strike count. Oh, delivers a curveball, and boy, that would just missed. Looked awful good from my vantage point, right at the letters. Thought he hooked that right in there for strike 3, but nevertheless, it is a ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here, top of the first, runner on first base. Real no threat to steal at this point. And the pitch on away, and Kallenberg fishes after the curveball, and he strikes out. And that is now the 2nd strikeout for Dylan Drees. So 2 strikeouts and a base on balls to start the game for Dylan Drees. Again, his ERA is 3.37, and now he'll face the left-handed cleanup hitter Ross Lieberman, and the wind is blowing slightly out to right field, right center field. So a good opportunity for a left-handed hitter to pull it down the line and see if they can hit one out of here. Drees now still worried about Jaden Vanderhoff at first base, so his first offering to Lieberman is swung on, and that is fouled off to the left. So strike 1 to Ross Lieberman. Lieberman, through 5 games and 15 at-bats, was batting .267. So he'll look at Drees' second offering here. No balls, 1 strike. Pitch on away, and that is a ball. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Should Lieberman reach? Next up is Jake Anderle, the center fielder. Pitch on away, and that is swung on and tagged well to center field. But back there to retrieve it easily is Clyde Selke, the center fielder. Boy, when the ball was first struck from my vantage point just to the right of home plate, that ball had a trajectory and a pace on it that looked like it might get down, but the Clyde Selke center fielder for Benilde got over there quickly and stopped that threat. So after a half inning, there's 1 hit, no runs, and we'll go to the bottom of the first inning, and Benilde will have their first chance to get a look at Jack Yonke. Yonke is taking the mound, and his ERA roughly is a 4.38. Our stats, unfortunately, are not up to date. Yonke, a right-hander, a senior on this team, will be facing, just lead off for Benilde, the following: Matt Murnane, who is the center fielder. Well, no, excuse me, he's number 8. Excuse me, he is the center fielder. Matt Murnane was the one who made that catch in center field. I mistook number 8 as Clyde Selke, but he is the right fielder, so my mistake. Matt Murnane made that nice play, and he'll be leading off the bottom of the first, followed by Mason James, who is the left fielder, and then Zach Gordon, the shortstop. So 2 strikeouts, 1 base on balls for Benilde's pitcher, Dylan Dries. Also going on here at the McQuinn Athletics Center tonight is 2 other playoff matches in lacrosse. Both the boys and girls Benilde team are hosting section playoffs here. So a busy night here in St. Louis Park. Again, I'm Robert Christensen here bringing you the play-by-play. And about to lead off here, Matt Murnane, the center fielder, steps in. So Yankee, he'll go from the windup. That's what the windup looks like, as opposed to Dylan Dries, who went from the stretch, and he delivers off to a nice start. Yankee strike 1 to Matt Murnane. Murnane coming into the game is batting .296 through 17 games. He's got 54 at bats, 13 runs scored, 16 hits. Pitch on a way to Murnane, strike call. So now 2 strikes to Matt Murnane. And that pitch is in there. So Yankee gets off to the same start as his counterpart for Benilde with a strikeout. So nice job there. Yankee striking out the dangerous Matt Murnane, the center fielder, batting around 300. So that brings up number 17. Mason James, the left fielder, and he takes strike 1 from Yankee. So Yankee's throwing lots of strikes here. Wow, that pitch had some heat on it. Strike 2. Yankee in full command here early on with his pitches. Wasting no time, makes the delivery, just missed. Ball 1, strike 2, count to Mason James. Mason James batting .388 on the year. Dangerous hitter, and he swings and misses. And another strikeout for Yankee. The Wildcats of Waconia. And so with 2 outs, 2 strikeouts, that brings up the left-hander. Zach Carden, the shortstop, number 13, steps in. Carden batting .333 on the year. 2 outs here, bottom of the first, strike. Yankee took a little something off that pitch on that one. Throwing lots of strikes, getting those first strikes in early is a great sign for any pitcher in baseball. And now he's got 2 strikes on Carden as he goes chasing that ball in the dirt. To get here, Waconia upset the number 4 seed, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. Waconia's the number 5 seed, so they upset Mount Westonka the other night. And Yankee brings the high heat and strikes out Corden. 3 strikeouts to begin the game, and we will go to the top of the second here from McQuinn Athletic Complex on the campus of Benilde-St. Margaret's. Our score after 1 complete is 0-0. And that gives us an opportunity to discuss the brackets of this Section 6 AAA baseball tournament as we watch the Red Knights come out to take the field in the top of the second. Benilde and Waconia played their first round Section 6 AAA baseball playoff games on Tuesday of this week. Today is Thursday, May 31st, and Waconia upset the number 4 seed Mount Westonka, and Benilde-St. Margaret's beat Robbinsdale Cooper, the number 8 seed. And so that is how these two teams are here in round 2. The winner advances to play on Saturday, June 2nd at 7 o'clock. And that game will be in Waconia. The loser will play tomorrow, Friday, June 1st at 5 o'clock. So that's where we are in the tournament. It's double elimination, and when you count all the days from beginning to end, it is a 10-day tournament to decide who is going to represent Section 6 AAA in varsity baseball for 2018. Okay, now stepping in to bat for the Wildcats in the top of the second. Number 16, Jake Anderle. He is the center fielder for the Waconia Wildcats. And he hits a grounder, nice soft one over to the third baseman who quickly gets it up and over to first base for the out. Nice quick throw over there by the third baseman for Benilde. Truman Kane over there minding the corner. Sometimes with these thick grass infields, which is the case here in Benilde, can slow that ball down so much it gives the base runner an advantage to first base because the ball takes so long to get to the infielders. So it's really important to charge those balls so you can take control of it a little earlier and get that ball over to first base. But nicely done there by Benilde's third baseman, Truman Kinney. Meanwhile, at bat for the Wildcats is number 21, the designated hitter, Dawson Martin. And he swings at that pitch, and it is going to be an out. Nice backup play there by the second baseman for the Red Knights, Harrison Shibley, and a nice toss over to the here. Look at this replay. First baseman had trouble handling it, but the second baseman backed him up, and Dries got over there to handle the throw. What a great example of playing infield baseball and backing up your neighbor. Nice job here. Shibley saved a almost certain base runner for the Wildcats, but instead there are 2 outs here, top of the second, and stepping in to bat is number 5, Will Copy, the right fielder, and he swings at that pitch. Instead, easy pop-up right to the first baseman for the Red Knights, Henry Wolf. And so that retires the Wildcats in another much easier evening there, I'd say, for inning there for Dylan Drews. Not as many long pitch counts, but he had no strikeouts. But a very, very efficient inning when you're counting pitches. So we'll go to the bottom of the second inning. There's our score, 0-0. As we look at some of the fans here surrounding the baseball field, and there's a good contingent of Wildcat fans here from Waconia. They've got quite a few of the stands filled, and I know from past experience, Waconia is a very big sports town out west of here. Used to be in the conference I used to play in growing up, so we played Waconia often, and a very, very competitive community when it comes to sports. And they are proving themselves competitive here, visiting the number 1 seed, Benilde-St. Margaret Red Knight baseball team, and due up for the Red Knights in their half of the second inning will be Evan Brown, the number 4 hitter. Brown comes in with a great batting average, batting .377.
Number 22, Evan Brown.
So Evan Brown steps in with a 0-0 score. Benilde looking for their first hit of the afternoon, going against a very hot pitcher for the Wildcats, Jack Yankee, who struck out the side to begin the game in the bottom of the first. And Yankee's first offering is high, threw a curveball there, so that is ball 1. To Evan Brown, and the second pitch is swung on, soft ground to the shortstop, and it gets under his glove. That's going to be an error. I think, in my opinion, on the shortstop for Waconia, Nolan Vanderhoff just took his eye off of it there. You can just see it just got on his glove, and that's a lesson to all the infielders out there to keep your eye on that ball. Look at all the way into the glove, and that's what happens when you don't do those fundamentals. So there is a pinch runner now in for Evan Brown, and that is number 10 for Benilde. Kyle Klacko, senior, courtesy runner. And the count is now 1 ball, no strikes to Henry Wolf. The first baseman, and there's a stolen base attempt, and he is out at second. Nice toss there from the Waconia catcher, guns him down, no problem. Robbie Smith was all over that. Look at the replay, quick release, ball right on the money. All the second baseman had to do was catch it, put the tag down, and Klacko slid right into it. So that means there is now 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Count though 3-0 to the first baseman, Henry Wolf. And now he takes a strike. So 3-1. The count, 1 out. First time Yankee's gone to 3 balls. Still early though here. Pitch on away, strike called the knees. So now Yankee climbs back into it, and it's 3-2 with 1 out here. Wind blowing out to right field, and that ball swung on. Fouled off sharply to the left. Henry Wolf just barely catching up with that. Count remains 3-2, 1 out here. Pitch on away and swung on, and that ball is lofted to center field. And it looks like the center fielder had to back up. You can see that wind is having an effect on that ball out there. That's exactly where that wind is going. And you can see how it affected the play. So that was not an easy put out there by the center fielder, Jake Anderle, for the Wildcats. But he does record the second out, and that now brings up number 8, the right fielder, Clyde Selke, for the Red Knights. And he takes pitch 1 low for a ball, so 1-0 here, bottom of the second. 2 outs, 1-0 count here to Selke. And he swings at that next pitch, fouled back and out of play, so 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Selke is a senior outfielder playing right field, and he takes a strike there, and boy, he shook his head. He knew that was a good pitch. Brett's not swinging at that one. So now 1-2, he's in a hole here, trying to get something going with 2 outs, bottom of the second, and he swings and misses. And Yankee gets his 4th K of the afternoon. And that brings us to the end of the second inning, and we will go to the top of the 3rd. No score in this pitcher's duel, and that's exactly what it is. Great pitcher's duel going on here between Dylan Dries, the pitcher for Benilde, as he comes back out to toss his warm-up pitchers here in the top of the 3rd. Just 1 hit in the game, 1 error though. The Wildcats did survive that. That error came at the hands of the shortstop. Nolan Vanderhoff took his eye off a soft ground ball to the shortstop, and it got underneath his glove. But in the ensuing at-bat, they tried to steal second, and Waconia's catcher threw him out. Robbie Smith, nice job on that throw out. Some of the fans here enjoying the nice weather here at game time. It was 84 degrees with a breeze at about 12 miles an hour. But as I look out into the right center field area, there's a flagpole with 3 flags out there, and now the wind is kind of non-existent. So it kind of kicks up and gusting a little bit, but it does seem to be going down as the sun gets lower in the sky. So now up for the Wildcats, batting 8th. Ben Hester, the 3rd baseman. He'll be followed by the catcher, Robbie Smith, and then the pitcher, Jack Yankee, start off the top of the third here. First pitch by Dries. Strike call, so nice start for Dries. Ben Hester coming in with a 1.33 batting average, and he swings at that pitch, and it gets to Harrison, and Harrison gets it over to the first baseman, Henry Wolf, with no problems. Shibley having a really nice game so far tonight. He had that nice play in the last inning, backing up the first baseman. Had a nice play there, so solid play from the second baseman for the Red Knights tonight. And now with one out here, top of the third, Dylan Dries faces number 13, Robbie Smith, the catcher. One ball, no strikes here, one out here. Top of the third, and that is swung on, and that's going to be back and out of play. So strike one, ball one to Robbie Smith. Robert Smith batting 167 through his first 7 games. So that was about 10 games ago. So, but that's how he started out anyway. Best stats we can get for you. And he swings at that pitch. So now he's in the hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dylan Dries. Pitch on away, swung on, right back up the middle. Robbie Smith, the catcher, sends it right back straight up the middle. Nice, solid, crisp base hit. So that's the second hit for Waconia. And now that brings up number 6, Jaden Vanderhoff, the second baseman. Top of the order. So we have 1 out, man on for Waconia. Dylan Dries delivers, and that is a ball outside. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Jaden Vanderhoff. Vanderhoff reached on a based on balls last time up. Looking to reach here. Just 1 out here, top of the third. Second base runner of the game on the base paths at first base. Robbie Smith, the catcher. So now that was ball 2 to Jaden Vanderhoff. So 2 balls, no strikes. Dylan Dries yet to throw over to Robbie Smith. They're not worried about a stealing threat from the catcher for the Wildcats. He is looking over there. So Dries from the stretch, he delivers, and that ball, curveball, down and to the left outside. So now count 3 balls, no strikes. You'll recall I just mentioned Jaden Vanderhoff did get a base on balls first time up. Should he reach? Next up is Nolan Vanderhoff, shortstop, and there is a toss over to first base. Smith gets back safely. So we'll see if Vanderhoff's going to be taken all the way. I think he did last time. Stretch, Dries delivers, and he gets a strike. Vanderhoff was taking all the way there clearly. So now 3-1. That's a hitter's pitch with a guy on first here, top of the third. Opportunity here. Great matchup here this afternoon in this Section 6 AAA playoff section meet, round 2. Pitch on away, that loses him. So the second time, and now that's 2 men on with 1 out, and that brings up the number 2 hitter, Nolan Vanderhoff. Wildcats have the meat of their order coming up here with just 1 out here, top of the third. And the first runner to reach second base is Robbie Smith. He's having a great game after throwing out a base runner earlier in the game. He takes the lead there. Modest lead at first base by Jaden Vanderhoff. So Dries delivers from the stretch, and that ball swung on, and it's going to be trouble in the middle, and it just finds the green in short center field. A seeing eye base hit, a Texas blooper, if you will. eludes. Shibley at second for Benilde. There's the replay, just so frustrating. As Nolan Vanderhoff fought off that pitch just enough to get it over the heads of the middle of the infield for Benilde. And now bases loaded with 1 out, and their number 3 hitter, Max Kallenberg, is up, and he takes strike 1. So great drama here at McQuinn Athletic Complex. Bases loaded here, top of the first. The number 5 seed threatening. The number 1 seed Red Knights on their home turf. Pitch on away from Dries, and he gets strike 2. And now the offering out to first base, and it gets by. And the catcher commits an error. Wild throw down to first base allows the first run to score. And Robbie Smith comes in, the catcher, with the first run scored. Wow, what a turn of events there. A really risky play by the catcher with just 1 out. Ball wasn't anywhere near where it needed to be, and now we have runners at second and third with just 1 out. Empty base at first, and that ball is in the dirt. Nobody coming home. Jaden Vanderhoff is on second. His brother is on second. And up to bat is number 15. Max Kallenberg, the number 3 hitter. He's got to be chomping at the bit here, but he's in a hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dries trying to get out of this inning. Big pitch. Curveball strikes him out looking. Kallenberg didn't like it, but a big strikeout by Dylan Dries. Trying to stop the bleeding here, and now that brings up the left fielder for Waconia, Ross Lieberman. Lieberman batting .267 on the year. Big, lanky, left-handed hitter trying to do some damage. Last time up, he drilled one to right field, but Murnane got it. But he hit it well. Wind now blowing out to right field. Boy, if Benilde can get out of this, they can use that as momentum going into the bottom of the third here. Facing bases loaded with 1 out. Be a great outcome, and there's a pitch, just misses. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 outs here. Top of the third, 1 run in already for the Wildcats in the second round playoff game. Runners on second and third. And there's a nice angle there. Dries delivers, and that ball is inside. So 3 balls, no strikes. You know, not bad here to take your time and be careful. There is the open base at first. Lieberman reaches. It's not the worst thing in the world. 3-0 delivery from Dries. And that ball swung on and drilled right up center field. And that brings in Vanderhoff, number 1, and Vanderhoff, number 2, slides head first. And Lieberman delivers a big 2-out, 2-run RBI hit. And Waconia has a 3-0 lead here in the top of the third, and there's only 2 outs, and they got a runner on first. And now that brings up the number 5 hitter, number 16, Jake Anderle. Anderle comes in batting .308 through his first 5 games. Dries has already given up 3, and Anderle wastes no time swinging at that first pitch, trying to get Dries while he's down, while he's a little disoriented, just giving up a few hits. Boy, it all started with the error on the catcher's throw to first base that went to right field. With bases loaded, they gave Waconia the first run. Then Lieberman delivers a big 2-strike hit, and there's a pitch inside. So 1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Jake Anderle. Ross Lieberman on first base after delivering a 2-out, 2 RBI single right up the middle. So they are getting the Dylan Dries here, the Wildcats here, the top of the third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that swung on, and that is going to be just out of play behind the Waconia dugout, and miraculously did not hit any vehicles parked right up here. guppies parking that close to the baseball field should know better if you know what you're doing. You don't want to park too close to a baseball field with the foul balls. So, okay, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Top of the third. Pitch on away by Dries, swung on, and that ball's fouled back into the parking lot. And another car avoids damage. So they're battling here. Dylan Drews against Jake Anderle here. Anderle fouling off the last few pitches with 2 strikes on him. Only 1 ball. Pitch on away by Dries, and that ball's low. Good eye there by Anderle, and stolen base by Lieberman as the catcher struggles picking up with it. Number 22, Evan Brown, struggling a little bit behind the plate. Might be a little shook up after that throwing error. He's got to get it together here. Benilde's got a lot of game left. They're the #1 seed, and they've got a lot of firepower in their offense. So important not to let the Wildcats get that guy in from second. Lieberman with 2 outs after already scoring 3 runs with 2 outs, or 1 with 1 out and then 2 with 2 outs. So really important for Benilde to get out of this inning now. Pitch on away, and strike call, and that will end the inning. Dylan Dries finally ends the long top of the 3rd inning, but not before they get 3 runs, 3 hits on 1 error, and they score 3. So at the end of 2.5 innings, we're gonna go to the bottom half of the 3rd, and the Red Knights, the #1 seed Red Knights, are down 3-0. But they're a very experienced ball club, and 3 runs is nothing for these Red Knights. But coming back out to pitch the bottom of the 3rd is Jack Yankee, who has just been outstanding here in his first 2 innings, pitching from the windup, and he has a large part in why Waconia is up 3-0. Just pitching really well. He's got 4 strikeouts already through 2 innings. Hasn't given up any hits. Beautiful night here at McQuinn Athletic Complex. Hitters due up for Benilde in their half of the 3rd inning. Zach Carden, number 9, or excuse me, Truman Kinney, second baseman. But leading off will be Michael Schmidt, the designated hitter, number 9. Schmidt comes in with a .320 batting average. He'll be followed by Truman Kinney and Harrison Shibley, the 3rd and 2nd baseman, respectively. And Yankee starts off the bottom of the 3rd with 1 ball to Michael Schmidt. That is also a ball. So 2-0 the count to Michael Schmidt, who's the 4th best batting average on the team for Benilde. So a lot of firepower on Benilde. Their averages, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that hit 300 or better. And another one hitting 296, so that's 7 pitches. And now the Benilde gets off to their best start to lead off an inning with a walk drawn by number 9, Michael Schmidt, and that will bring up Truman Kinney, the 3rd baseman. Kinney comes in batting 167. 37 at bats, 8 runs scored, 6 hits, 11 base on balls though, so that causes the manager, with that base on balls for Waconia, Mark Grunhofer, to come out and talk things over with his infield. And so they're having a meeting out there, probably going to discuss how to handle the very speedy, is my guess, Michael Schmidt there, number 9. See if there's any stolen bases for any that we can find here, or should I say Michael Schmidt. Let's see. Yeah, Michael Schmidt, he's got 2 stolen bases on the year, so it's not unheard of. As stepping in to bat for Benilde is number 6. Truman Kinney, the third baseman. As I said, Kinney batting 167, but he takes strike 1 from Yonke, so Yonke off to a much better start. He keeps an eye on first base, where Michael Schmidt is leading off, but he doesn't look like a stealing threat at this point. I'm sure Benilde doesn't want to run themselves out of the inning down 3-0. They just like to get some runs across here and string some hits together. So they might just play it conservative there with stealing bases. And since he only has 2 on the year, they don't want to get him thrown out. And we already saw the Waconia catcher, Robbie Smith, gun down another Benilde player earlier in the game. So they've tested his arm, and his arm was dead accurate with a lot of velocity. So doubt they're going to want to test him unless they've got a real speedster on the base pass. So it's now 1 ball, 2 strikes to Truman Kinney, and he swings and misses, and there's another strikeout for Yonke. That's his 5th. Yonke just having an outstanding afternoon on the mound in this 2nd round playoff game, and now stepping into bat is Harrison Shibley, the 2nd baseman, who's had a couple nice plays in the outfield. Let's see if that translates into a hit here with 1 out and a runner on first base. Yonke delivers, and that's a curveball high and outside. Ball 1. Great baseball game here so far. The number 5 seed getting out to an early lead here in the 3rd, 3-0. All started with an error by the catcher, and there's a strike by Yonke. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Good shot of Shibley looking down to get the sign from the 3rd base coach. Yonke on the mound, looking over at the first base. Checking on Michael Schmidt there, but as I said, Schmidt doesn't look like a threat to lead. Shibley looks to maybe bunt, and now the throw down to first, just barely getting back in time is Michael Schmidt. Boy, Robbie Smith is just a monster there behind the plate for the Wildcats. Watch this throw. Boy, Schmidt almost gets caught in the sand, and the ball is there and just gets in underneath the tag. Boy, Robbie Smith has got a gun on him there, a catcher for the Wildcats. All right, now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch on a way, swung on, and that ball gets through. Shibley having a great afternoon with 1 out, gets a base hit. He fights that pitch off into right field. And I think when you're hot in the outfield and you make a couple nice plays, that does translate into performance at the plate. And Harrison Shibley there is a great example of that phenomenon. So now that brings up number 7, Matt Murnane, and the leadoff hitter with 1 out and 2 runners on. A chance for Benilde to break back here in their half of the 3rd after giving up 3 in the top. So Yonke now facing his biggest threat in his longest inning with 2 base runners for Benilde. Base hit would likely score a run here if it's hit sharply enough into the outfield. So Murnane swings at that pitch, so it's even 1-1 with 1 out here to Matt Murnane. Murnane batting .296, 300 hitter. Murnane, a junior outfielder here, looking at 2 balls, 1 strike with 1 out, 2 runners on. And the offering from Jack Yonke is being a lot more deliberate now with runners on, and he gets that one across, swing and a miss for strike 2. So Murnane, the count even, 2-2. It's a big pitch here. Count even at 2-2. 2 runners on, 1 out. Big opportunity for the leadoff hitter, and he stays alive there, catches a piece of it. Count remains 2-2. Great baseball game here. lots of strategy. It's a chess match to be sure. Been somewhat of a pitcher's duel as Renane fouls that one back again to stay alive at 2-2. See, we got a graphic there with the diamond. First time I've seen that. That looks good. Always trying to improve our broadcasts here at ParkTV 16 Sports. And the pitch from Yankee, and he does go. Murnane tried to hold back, but he definitely went for strike 3. So big strikeout for Yankee as he's trying to protect his team's 3-0 lead. And now that brings up the number 2 hitter in the order, Mason James, number 17. Steps into bat, and he is their number 1 hitter at 388. And boy, do they need him now with 2 outs and 2 runners on here, down 3-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. And Jack's first pitch, a curveball just outside ball 1, or maybe it was just a little high. So this is real excitement here for any baseball fan. Playoff baseball. Number 1 seed down 3-0 at home. Now with a chance to get their first run with 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd. And now it's 2 balls and no strikes to the number 1 hitter on the team. Batting .388. Left fielder Mason James looking to do some damage here. Pitch on away, strike call. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Jack Yankee, this is a great matchup between Yankee and best pitcher, their best hitter. Runners on base, something on the line, big pitch here. And that is just a nice stop there by Robbie Smith. He has been outstanding at catcher for the Wildcats. So count 3-1, hitter's pitch with 2 outs here. So this is exactly what you want. Your Mason James, and the pitch on away, and Jonky blows it by him for strike 2. Boy, he brought the heat on that pitch. And now we are down to the quick. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Number 1 seed Benilde down 3-0. And the payoff pitch. And it's swung on and missed, and Jack Yankee strikes out his 6th, and he is having a night here in St. Louis Park. So after 3, he gives up his first hit, but no runs, and we will go to the top of the 4th with an upset in the making here at McQuinn Athletic Complex. Jack Yankee is the story of the game so far. Him and Robbie Smith have combined for 6 strikeouts, a base hit, a run scored, a throw out at second base. And they will come to bat with a 3-0 lead here in the 2nd round of Section 6 AAA varsity baseball playoffs. Prior to the game, I was listening to the Waconia head coach as they were just completing their infield warm-ups, and he just made the comment that he thought that they did a nice infield, outfield, and that they look sharp, and so far they do look sharp here as we go to the 4th in this 7-inning contest. Dylan Dries, who started the game, coming in with a 3.37 ERA, has just finished his warm-up tosses. And leading off for the Wildcats will be the number 6 hitter, number 21, Dawson Martin. He'll be followed by Will Copy, the number 7 hitter, and then the number 8 hitter, Ben Hester. So Martin, Copy, and Hester to lead off the top of the 4th for the Wildcats. Number 21, Martin swings at that first pitch, and that's gonna be in short left outfield, and backing up nicely for the Red Knights is Zach Gordon. Him getting back there, it's not an easy place, fighting the sun, and sensing his outfielders getting close to him, but he hauls that in for a nice, easy, quick first out for the Red Knights, and they would love nothing better than getting out. And now a nice hard hit ball to second baseman Shipley, but he gets it over, and now that's his 3rd nice play in the outfield. for the Red Knights, and he's got a base hit also to extend the last half of their batting. And so now with 2 outs, stepping in is Hester. Ben Hester, number 14, first baseman. Hester comes in, well, our early game stats after just 6 games, he was batting 133 or 113, but again, it was bad weather there in April all around here, so I'm sure he's batting better than that. So the count now is 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs, nobody on here. Top of the 4th, Dylan Dries, starter, throws a curveball and Hester chases it. And now he's in a hole at 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs here. Should he reach, the catcher Robbie Smith would be up next, who reached and scored in the last inning, sparking the, and there's a swing and a miss on that curveball. So Dylan Dries makes easy work of the Wildcats in their top of the 4th, so no runs, no hits, no errors, and we will now go to the bottom of the 4th inning. And the Red Knights will try to get back into this match. They still got quite a bit of at-bats left, but they'd love nothing better than to draw some blood on the Wildcats here. The longer these games go on, the more upset-minded the lower seed team feels, and the more confidence that breeds, and that's how upsets occur. So coming out to take his warm-up pitchers is Jack Yonke, and if you're just joining us, he has been pitching lights out this afternoon. 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. Got into a little trouble last inning, so he might be getting tired out there. Hot sun, game time temperature 84 degrees, and I don't think that's dropped. Partly cloudy. Field's been in shade for parts of the game and oftentimes in the sun, and there's a big difference on the players in terms of how much their fluids they're losing, and also just the sight lines, especially in the outfield. That sun is directly into the outfielder's eyes, so we'll see if that plays a role in any of the upcoming action as Jack Yonke completes his warm-up tosses, and leading off for the Red Knights will be the shortstop, Zach Carden. Carden steps in with a .333 batting average. The lefty will lead off the bottom of the 4th for the Wildcats, and Yonke's first delivery is in the dirt, so ball 1 to Carden. Carden has the 3rd best batting average on the team. He's the number 3 hitter, so the meat of the order is number 3, 4, and 5. Carden, Evan Brown, and Henry Wolf will be the first 3 up for the Red Knights here in their half of the 4th, and now it's 1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Carden. Jack Yonke here from the windup. Pitch on away, swung on. That ball curved out to the outside. He almost has a natural tail on that pitch as I was just looking at that angle from behind home plate. That's a great, great angle. That ball is inside. So 2-2 the count here, no outs here. Zach Carden, number 3 hitter, looking to get something going here in the bottom of the half of the 4th, and he swings, and that fouls that off to the left, out of play. On top of the school. How many baseballs are on the top of that school? Probably quite a few. Okay, count now 2-2. And that is swung on. Yonke brought the heat. Boy, we don't have a speed gun, but it'd be interesting to find out how fast Yonke's pitching, because when he brings his fastball, he really brings it. You can notice it from about 25 yards from home plate, and you can feel it when he brings that heat. That was an off-speed pitch. Tried to draw that in high and just missed. So Yonke, with an expression of disappointment after that call, thought he had it, but 3-2 is the count. No outs here. Playoff pitch, Swung on, and that ball is going to be in play. A pop-up to the shortstop for the Wildcats. Nolan Vanderhoff makes easy work of that, but Jack Yonke pitched, wasted a lot of pitches on that one out. Several foul balls, so we'll see if that tires him out, but he gets that first critical out of any inning for any outfield team. So with one out, that brings up number 22. Evan Brown, the catcher, looking to redeem himself after a throwing error that led to that 3-run inning back in the third. As he takes ball 2. Some of the Wildcat fans sitting near me didn't like that call, but it was 2-0 is the count with one out here, bottom of the fourth. And the wind-up pitch on a way, swung on, and that's gonna be right back to Yonke. He fields it easily, but his throw in the dirt, but fortunately it came up with a nice hop to Hester, who was able to handle it. Ben Hester saves the day on that one. Yonke, I think, was a little surprised. The ball came out kind of haphazardly that way. Here's that replay. Just, I think, you know, he's on that mound, and they're not used to throwing a normal ball. And that's what caused the, even better off fielding the ball, taking 3 steps, and getting onto level ground, and then tossing it over. But that all depends on how fast the runner is getting down. So it's a complicated play for a pitcher when they field it right on the mound, because they're not on even ground to make that throw, and that's why that ball went in the dirt. Okay, pitch on away to number 2, who's up there. He laces it into right field. Evan Brown, or no, excuse me, number 2. Henry Wolf delivers a base hit to right field with 2 outs, and so that brings up number 8, Clyde Selke, the right fielder. And a chance with 2 outs for Benilde to try to get a run across. So Henry Wolf, the first baseman, gets a nice hit there. It's Benilde's second of the game against a tough pitcher in Yonke for the Wildcats. So that's ball 1 now to Clyde Selke. Selke batting .260 on the year. And pitch on away, that was a fastball. Missing, so now 2-0 the count to Selke. Solid hitter, Selke. Looking to get his teammate from first base around those base paths, and he swings, kind of flailed at that one. He was way behind that pitch. I tell you, Yonke's got some speed on that, mustard as they say. He's got some mustard on that fastball, and some of these Red Knight players are having a hard time catching up to it. So now it's 2 balls, 1 strike to Selke. Pitch on away, swung on, and pitch hand right to the first baseman. Hester knocks it down in front of him, but he picks it up and walks it over to first base to record the 3rd out, and that will end the bottom of the 4th inning. Your score after 4 complete is 4-0, or excuse me, 3-0 Waconia on 3 hits and 1 error, and that was a big error. So now Waconia will come up in the top of the 5th with a 3-run lead. And let's see who comes out to take the mound for Benilde. And as I look out there, it is Dylan Dries, your starter. So they're sticking with their senior pitcher, number 21. And there's your scorecard right now so far. Big 3rd inning for Waconia. Led to those 3 runs with bases loaded. There was an error by the catcher as he tried to pick off the runner on first for Waconia. The ball eluded the first baseman, went into right field, and that scored the first run. The players advanced, and then a Waconia batter ripped a base hit into center field, scoring 2, and that's how we're at 3-0. Dylan Dries out there with his warm-up tosses. We look at some of the fans here enjoying this lovely warm evening here in late May. And that will conclude Dylan Dree's warm-up tosses, and we're about to begin the top of the 5th here. This round 2, Section 6 AAA varsity baseball playoff game. Benilde-St. Margaret out of the Metro West Conference, taking on the visiting Wildcats. And the first pitch by Drees is swung on by Robbie Smith, and he will lead off the top of the 5th. He's their catcher and number 9 hitter, and he'll be followed by the top of the order, Jaden Vanderhoff, and then Nolan Vanderhoff. And the pitch on away, strike 2 now. Drees has Robbie Smith, who's really had a great game. He scored the first run. He threw out a stolen base attempt by Benilde earlier. Pitch on away, swung on, and he smacks that down the third base line. And that should be extra bases as they wave him down the second base. Here comes the throw. Oh no, he holds up just at the last second. Smartly there by Robbie Smith. Boy, he smashed that ball right down the line. The third baseman, who was playing off the line for Benilde, had no chance. Truman Kinney over there, and that ball was smoked. Bang. And that grass is long out there in the outfield. Had it been cut shorter, Smith, who's a catcher, probably not has the fastest wheels on the team, unable to get to second, but a nice start there with no outs now and a base hit. And now squaring to bunt, Jaden Vanderhoff, who is 0 for 0, and this being his 3rd at bat, walked on the first 2 occasions. And he will step in and squares to bunt. That causes a shift in the outfield by Benilde as Kinney, the third baseman, is going to be charging in. We're going to leave third base uncovered. And both the shortstop and second baseman will be covering second. So as they hold the runner on first. So that's your setup here, and pitch on away, strike. Count 1-1 here. So another great matchup here. If you like baseball and the strategy, the thinking of baseball, this has just been a great game here today. So stepping in the leadoff hitter, Jaden Vanderhoff, and now pickoff attempt on Robbie Smith. He gets back easily. I don't see him stealing. Not with a 3-0 lead. Great pitcher's duel here. Dylan Drees looks in, pitch on away, and the strike as he tried to bunt that. And now that means 2 strikes to Jaden Vanderhoff. Jaden is a senior on the team. His brother Nolan is also a senior, so they must be twins, I imagine, obviously. All right, pitch on away. And he is hit. So Jaden Vanderhoff winces as he takes that ball in the left thigh as he shrugs it off, and now there are 2 runners on with no outs. And Benilde continues to make mistakes here, costing them the lead here, quite honestly. So they tend to Jaden Vanderhoff, the coach out there, looking at his thigh, talking things over, giving him some time to get the sting out of that leg. So that'll bring up the other Vanderhoff, Nolan Vanderhoff, the shortstop. I don't know if they are twins or not. Maybe they're cousins. And now we're going to have a meeting at the mound for Benilde. They're going to come in and talk it over as a coach for Benilde comes out, and the entire infield gathers around the pitching mound, and that also gives an opportunity for the head coach, Mark Grunhofer, for the Wildcats to have a conversation halfway between home plate and first base. So what do you think they're talking about? And if you're Benilde, they're just going through scenarios here with 0 outs. Obviously, their goal is to cut down the lead runner whenever possible. So they're talking about if the ball's hit to which side of the infield, and that's why they're talking to the infield. Who's going to cover, and then who's coming up, and what they're likely to do here with no outs, because they may actually have Nolan
Vanderhoff attempt to bunt here to put 2 runners in scoring position with just 1 out with their number 3 hitter coming up. And I think that's exactly what Benilde now was talking about, was how they're going to handle any bunt attempt. But right now the third baseman's playing straight away, even with the bag and off the line. And they are not holding on the first base runner, as the first baseman is now cinching up, and yeah, they are coming up expecting a bunt, but it's swung on, and that could be in the gap, but no, Murnane comes up and handles it easily. The ball hung up there in the wind, so easy out there for Dree. I don't know if it was easy, but a 1 pitch out there, and that's exactly what Drees needed here to get that first out on 1 pitch. Should be a confidence booster, but now he's going to face the number 3 hitter, Max Kallenberg. Steps in the third baseman, big strong kid here. Trying to do some more damage here at the top of the 5th. And he looks at that ball 1, curveball down and away in the dirt. So 1-0 the count. Should he reach, next up is number 17, Ross Lieberman, who delivered a nice 2-run base hit. And Kallenberg sends that ball right in between the hole between second and first, and that will score Robbie Smith and send Jaden Vanderhoff to third. And so a 1-out base hit to right field, hit by Kallenberg, delivers the 4th run for the Wildcats, and now they are back in business here in the top of the 5th. And now with just 1 out, they have runners at the corners, and their best hitter, Ross Lieberman, who already has 2 RBI in the night, has an excellent opportunity to add a 3rd RBI and the Wildcats' 5th run here. So number 5 seed taking on the number 1 seed on their home field. And the pitch on away by Drees is outside. Waconia really showing up big here on the 2nd round matchup in section playoff baseball. Drees delivers the curveball, and he does fool Lieberman on that one. Great pitch by Dylan Drees. So the count is 1-1 to Ross Lieberman. Lieberman batting .267, but that was early in the year through only 5 games. He was their number 3 hitter that early, so he's one of their top ones, and he's proven it earlier in this match. And now the count is 2 balls, 1 strike as Drees misses there. Pitch on away, swung on and fouled out to the right side. Evens the count at 2-2. So great pitcher-batter matchups here. Lots of strategy. Great energy, great tension here in this playoff game. Waconia is making a statement. Pitch on away, swung on the curveball, fouls it left and back and out of play. Count remains 2-2. No threat of a steal coming from Max Kallenberg, who delivered an RBI single to right field just a moment ago. With second base empty, Waconia is not going to play the game of trying to get into a pickle to score that run on third. They're looking for Lieberman to deliver a solid base hit here with 1 out, and there's a pickoff attempt on Kallenberg. A little surprising, because I don't see him as one of the faster players on the Wildcats. Not a threat to steal or to score from first, for that matter, most likely, unless the ball goes all the way to these deep fences, especially in left field, and that ball is high. So 3-2 with 1 out. Drees is 1 pitch away from loading these bases up for the 2nd time in this game. So big 3-2 pitch here with 1 out. Runners in the corners for the Wildcats. And the number 4 hitter up. If you're Mr. Grunhofer, the coach of the Wildcats, you've got to be happy with what you're seeing here so far. Here's Drees, big pitch, 3-2. Swung on and fouled sharply to the right of first base. Lieberman all over that pitch, way out in front. So he is tracking that ball well. Very dangerous time here if you're a Benilde fan and a Drees fan. Haverman, big, tall, strong kid. Got some power, a little wind blowing out to right field. And the 3-2 payoff pitch on its way, swung on, and Dries gets him. Big pitch by Benilde. And that has to bring a sigh of relief from the Benilde fans, at least temporarily, but they still got trouble here, as now stepping in for the Wildcats, Jake Anderle, the center fielder. Anderle, a very good player, having a great night at the plate and in the field. Will step up with 2 outs, and now Grunhofer, the third base coach and their head coach, comes over. And we're gonna have a pinch runner coming in for Kallenberg. Coming into the game at first base as a runner is number 11, Charles Kinneberg. He is a pitcher, senior pitcher, running for Kallenberg. So now runners still at the corners here, top of the 5th. 2 outs now, stepping in Anderle, trying to get one more run across here in the top of the 5th. Wildcats already with 1 run across. And Anderle takes first pitch from Dries, strike 1. So 1 ball, no balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here. And Anderle checking out some notes from his wristband there, tucking in his back pocket there. Maybe just a reminder clue what to look for. And he swings at that curveball, and he was tracking it, just couldn't quite catch up with it. It was really too far out of the strike zone, but he could see it coming. So now he's in a hole with no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dries trying to work out of this jam here in the top of the 5th. 1 run already across, and another one just 90 feet away on third base, and another one on first base. Anderle in the hole, no balls, 2 strikes, pitch on away. And in the dirt, and he swings, but it's in the dirt, and they'll throw him out at first base, and that should end the inning, and it does. So after 4.5 complete here at McQuinn Athletic Complex on the campus of Benilde-St. Margaret's, the Wildcats add to their lead with 1 run on 2 hits, and their lead is now 4-0, and we'll go to the bottom of the 5th, where Benilde-St. Margaret's, the #1 seed, is in jeopardy of losing their first playoff game in this double elimination tournament for 6 AAA. The real story in the game is the guy taking the mound for the Wildcats, Jack Yankee, only giving up 2 hits. Despite 1 error, no runs against the #1 seed Benilde-St. Margaret Red Knights. And I'm just looking at some of the run totals that Benilde has put up throughout the year. Neither of these teams met each other in this season, although they were scheduled to meet each other way back on Friday, April 20th, shortly after the giant snowstorm that swept through Minnesota. That game was postponed and never made up, and they have no common opponents either to compare these 2 teams, because oftentimes when teams come from different conferences, it's hard to tell how good they are just based on their records because of the level of competition they may have faced. And right now, Waconia looks like a very good, solid, sharp baseball team. But Benilde, they're the #1 seed. They've been here before, and they still have 3 more innings to get back in this, and they're still only down 4 runs. And they are capable of putting some runs up, as their batting averages quite exceed the Wildcats. As Yankee starts off delivering a ball in the dirt, gets by, so 1 ball, no strikes. Up to bat is number 9, Michael Schmidt, the DH. He's the #7 hitter. He'll be followed by Truman Kinney, the #8 hitter, and Harrison Shibley, the 2nd baseman, and the #9 hitter. Shibley having a nice night as well, and that is strike 1 by Jack Yankee. So Yankee 1-1 against Michael Schmidt, who reached last time up. And that pitch, strike call. Now Yankee still playing at a very high level here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Has 2 strikes on the designated hitter, Michael Schmidt, for Benilde. And he strikes him out looking. So Jack Yankee really having a night here. That's his 7th or 8th strikeout of the night. And that sends down number 9, Michael Schmidt, and that'll bring up Truman Kinney. With 1 out here, bottom of the 5th. Yankee delivers, and that ball also in the dirt, and it gets by the catcher, Robbie Smith. So now the 1 ball, 1 strike, and a swing on and miss there. Number 6, Truman Kenny steps in. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here, bottom of the 5th, and that pitch, the fastball, a little high, just above the letters. So now 2-1. Yankee cruising along here from the windup. And that pitch just misses. Curveball, just misses the corner and low. So now 3-1 pitch here, hitter's pitch to Truman Kinney. And he misses just high. So Red Knights get a base runner here in the 5th. So with 1 out and 1 on, that brings up Harrison Shibley, and Shibley, the second baseman, has had a very nice night. Base hit last time up. Extended the inning, didn't lead to any runs, but did help threaten. And he's made some nice plays in the field as well at second base, especially one backing up the first baseman a few innings ago on a botched play by the first baseman. But Shibley takes strike 1 from Yankee, who I'm sure remembers giving up. That was just one of the only 2 hits he's given up, so make no mistake, Yankee remembers it, and he wants to come after Shibley to establish dominance here on someone that got a hit off of him. So Yankee from the stretch steps off the rubber, looks back at Truman Kinney. Kinney just has 2 stolen bases on the year, so not a huge stealing threat, but certainly capable with 2 stolen bases. But now the count is 0-2 to Shibley, so he is in a hole as Yankee is really coming after him. And that ball swung on, so nice job, Shibley, protecting the plate. Wow, well-trained baseball player there, backing up first basemen, making plays, getting base hits and staying alive there. Your job is to protect the plate and just try to squeak a ball through here. If I recall, that's kind of how he got his first hit of the game. So the 0-2 pitch to Shibley with 1 out and a runner on first, and the curveball gets him chasing, and he didn't have a chance. He had to go after it, and nice setup there by Jack Yankee. You know, he threw that the pitch before into the dirt and outside, and then Shibley just got a piece of it. This time he just went a little bit farther out, and Shibley was toast at that point. So masterful job there by Jack Yankee on the mound here for the Wildcats. Just having a stellar game on the mound so far. We're now with 2 outs and a runner on first. He'll face Matt Murnane, leadoff hitter. But 2 outs here, bottom of the 5th. Yankee trying to close it out here in the 5th. Pitch on away, strike call. So here, getting later stages of the game, Yankee still having great location on those first pitch, gets that all-important first strike. Benilde just looking for something to get their engines going here, a little spark, but right now the Wildcats have them down. Mostly because of the pitcher there, Jack Yankee. So no ball, 1 strike here. Kinney on first base, that ball low outside, so 1-1 the count. Very quiet here, very knowledgeable crowd. They understand what's at stake here and what's going on here, but there's an upset brewing in the second round of these playoffs. Benilde being tested, and the pitch down low, so good eye there. Benilde could really use an good at-bat here and try to squeeze a run across. Don't want to have to try to get them all at the last part of the game. Down 4-0 here. They're going to start to feel the squeeze here in the next 2 innings. They can't get something across here, and that pitch is a strike call. So Yankee evens it up at 2-2 with 2 outs. He has just been a joy to watch so far. Pitch on away, strike call. He brought it all, and he strikes out. Number 7 for Benilde. Matt Murnane, the leadoff hitter, to close out the 5th inning, and you are watching a masterful pitching performance here in high school baseball. I don't care where you are or where you watch baseball. This is turning into a gem of a pitching highlight film here for Jack Yankee and the Waconia Wildcats. They are riding his arm here to a 4-0 lead. He's only given up 2 hits. Has, I would say, approaching maybe 10 strikeouts already through just 5 innings. That's averaging 2 a game. And so the Wildcats now will go to the top of the 6th. Just 2 innings to go here, folks. And the number 1 seed, Benilde-St. Margaret Red Knights, have their work cut out for them. Just looking over at the bench, you see some players with their hands in their heads scratching. It's not over for them. It's a double elimination if they don't find a way to come back. Just looking ahead here at the bracket in 6 AAA 2018 baseball tournament. The winner of this game will play Saturday in Waconia against the winner of Delano-Wilmer, which that is being played as we speak in Wilmer. So Wilmer, Delano, the winner versus Benilde-St. Margaret Waconia, and then the losers will face each other in this double elimination tournament. And that game would be tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Probably right back here if Benilde loses. All right, about to begin here. The Wildcats' top half of the 6th inning. They lead 4-0, and stepping into bat for the Wildcats is number 21, Dawson Martin, the designated hitter. Lefty. Wind blowing out to right field. Dylan Dries, the starting pitcher, has gone throughout, and he throws that one in the dirt. So 1 ball, 1 strike to count to number 21. Dawson Martin, the designated hitter, trying to get things leading off here in the top of the 6th. And that pitch just misses. So 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Pitch on away, swung on. That ball's tagged to right field. Is it going to get over the head of the Murnane? And it does, and it lands against the wall. And he'll be in with a stand-up double. Number 21, Dawson Martin, delivers a crushing blow to right center field. Burns Matt Murnane out there in center field. And the hits are now starting to come easily for the Wildcats as they lead off the top of the 6th with a big hit. And there'll be a pinch runner now in for Dawson Martin. Entering the game is number 7 at second base running. Number 7 is Kobe Ballmer. He is a junior shortstop reserve right at this point, so he's out at second base. Stepping into bat for the Wildcats is number 5, Will Copy, the right fielder. He'll be followed by number 14, Ben Hester, the first baseman here in the top half of the 6th for the Wildcats. So they are threatening to add to their 4-0 lead. Dylan Dries, the pitcher there, has gone the whole way. Giving up 6 hits on 4 runs and an error. And that pitch is also a ball, so 2-0 count to Will Copy. Copy is the right fielder. Followed by Hester and Robbie Smith, the catcher. And he swings, misses, and way behind on that pitch. So 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs here. Runner on second for Waconia. You can see our nice new little graphic there to the right of the Section 6 AAA designation. Always improving our production here at ParkTV 16 as Copy gets a seeing eye ground ball, just eludes the shortstop. And now the Waconia Wildcats with no outs have 2 hits to lead off the top of the 6th and runners at the corners. And now Ben Hester, the tall right fielder, will step in to bat. And now an excellent opportunity for the number 5 Wildcats. Try to further put this game away. Hester now steps in. Nobody warming up over on the Benilde bench, I see, and that pitch, and Bester turns to square to bunt, but stealing on a delayed steal is the Wildcats. So you can see that was a delayed steal, and there's 3 types of steals in baseball. There's the early steal, the straight steal, and the late steal, and that was the late steal. And you do that to try to get the catcher to commit to throwing it back to the pitcher, and you're just then going and you get the delayed steal. So nice execution, great baseball knowledge, execution by the Wildcats there. Having number 5, Will Copy, steal second, and now with no outs, they have runners at second and third, and Ben Hester up to bat, but he's got 2 strikes on him, and the pitch by Drews is inside, almost hit him, it looked like. Hester skipping out of the way. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. No outs. Next up will be the catcher, Robbie Smith. Hester looks at a 1-2 and he swings, and that's popped up. It's in play, just out of bounds along the first base line, and so the first out is recorded for Benilde. And boy, they would love to get out of this inning now. So with a base empty at first base, there's still 2 runners in scoring position for the Wildcats. And Robbie Smith, their tough catcher, gamer of a player, steps in to bat, trying to add to their lead here. And he squares to bunt, and they're going to do the squeeze play, and it's going to work perfect. The suicide squeeze works there. Robbie Smith delivers in all kinds of ways, and the suicide squeeze works to perfection. Let's look at the replay. You can see here comes the third baseman right now, and he's running right now, even before he hits it, and that's why they call it the suicide squeeze, because the runner from third has to commit, and that means Smith has to get the ball, because if he misses it on the bunt attempt, the guy at third base is a dead duck coming in there. And so the suicide squeeze is a special play in baseball. You don't see it executed very often, and you don't see it executed well very often. And so that draws a meeting at the mound for Benilde as they call timeout, and it's now 5-0 on the suicide squeeze play by the Wildcats. We are watching some great baseball being played here tonight. Benilde looking for answers here. Number 5 seed just getting 2 hits here. They've now given up 8 hits, 5 runs, and on 1 error as the umpire comes out and says, okay, that's enough. And again, they're going through scenarios here, because when they come back, I think the Wildcats are going to have a runner on third and a runner on first. And now up to bat is Jaden Vanderhoff, who's reached 3 out of 3 times, twice on walks and 1 on he was hit by a pitch. So his on-base percentage tonight is 1,000 without getting any hits. And so with runners at the corners, still only 1 out here. 1 run across this inning, 5-0. Waconia looking to add to their lead. And Vandenord, now he squares to bunt and pulls back. And that was called a ball, so he was able to pull back in time. So now Vanderhoff also checking some notes. Oh, we did have a stolen base, so Robbie Smith did take second there, which with no throw. So now 2 runners in scoring position, and this time Vanderhoff offers and misses for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. So runners on second and third. Robbie Smith just stole second. pitch before on an uncontested stolen base there. And the count now is 1-1 to Jaden Vanderhoff. Boy, big opportunity for Waconia to put the hurt on Benilde here with a base hit. Delivery by Drews, and that ball is strike call. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Vanderhoff in a bit of a hole now. Gonna try to find any way to get on here now at this point. Not much of a threat to bunt usually with 2 strikes, and he swings and just stays alive. So defending the plate there nicely, Jaden Vanderhoff fights it off. Count remains 1-2 with 1 out. Good crowd here on hand. Lots of sports going on at McLean Athletic Complex. 2 lacrosse playoff games. This baseball game, that ball swung on. And back to the pitcher. And Drees overthrows the first baseman. Oh my goodness. And that's gonna score 2 as Robbie Smith comes all the way around from second base. And on the throwing error by Drees, who just made a nice play, overthrows the first baseman, allowing 2 more runs to score. That being a second costly error by Benilde. And oh my goodness. Waconia now up 7-0 here. And out comes the catcher for Benilde to talk to Drillin Drews, as does the entire infield. And now the Benilde bullpen is now getting action. And there's the overthrow and then the throw back in on the replay. And boy, what are you gonna do? So there is a pitcher warming up, a lefty out there in left field. I left my binoculars in the car, so can't quite see who that might be. But now up to bat for the Wildcats with Jaden Vanderhoff on second base, following the error by Dylan Drews, leading to 2 more runs for the Wildcats. They leave 7-0 on 8 hits, 2 errors, and another runner in scoring position, and still only 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Nolan Vanderhoff now with no balls, 1 strike, steps in. Should he reach, Max Kallenberg would be up next. Last time up, he ripped 1 in the outfield. Count now 1-1 to Nolan Vanderhoff. Pitch on away, swung on, and hit sharply to third base. Checks the runner at second, gets it over, and they call him out. Ball in the dirt. Nice scoop there by the Benilde first baseman, number 2, Evan Brown. Or no, excuse me. Number 2 is Henry Wolf at first base, scooping that out to get the second out. But Jaden Vanderhoff, even though he was checked at second, advances to third, and so now he is in better scoring position, but this time with 2 outs. And coming up is Max Kallenberg, and Max Kallenberg ripped a ball to center field last time up. And that's gonna be it for Dylan Drews as the manager comes out. We're gonna have a pitching change. And there is the 6 AAA boys baseball, not basketball, bracket. But I think we all know it's baseball, so, and the date there, it's May 31st. We'll get this fixed. But there is the second round matchup in the winner's half of the bracket. There's a whole loser's bracket that if you've lost only one, if you lose your first, you go down to loser's bracket, you try to make your way back. But looking at that bracket is very complicated, and it's a long way back. You've got to win like 4 or 5 games to get right back into it. So for Benilde, this is devastating, being down 7-0 here, being the number 1 seed on their home turf. It's going to be a long road back, but they're certainly capable of being the number 1 seed, and that's the, I'm sure the team's already in the losers bracket. They don't want to see Benilde down there just as much as Benilde doesn't want to be there. because believe me, Benilde is a very good team. And now in to take the warm-up for Benilde is number 4, Matt Knockbor. And as opposed to Dries, who was a right-hander, they're gonna give it a shot with the left-hander, see if they can stop the bleeding here. Down 7-0. Information on number 4, Knockbar. Matthew Knockbar is just a sophomore pitcher. So he comes in to face the red-hot Wildcats here, trying to look up. Knockbar has appeared in 5 games. He has a 1-1 record, 19 innings pitched, and a 5.53 ERA, giving up 15 base on balls. Recorded 19 strikeouts and 1 hit by pitch. So he'll look in here, and he is now up 1 strike, no balls to Kallenberg, and now that ball's in the dirt. So with 2 outs, Kallenberg looks at a curveball high and outside. So the count is 2-1. Max Kallenberg trying to get that 8th run across, just 90 feet away at third base, Jaden Kallenberg, and the pitch high and outside. So good eye there by Kallenberg, and he works the count to 3-1 now with 2 outs. And if he gets on, up next is Lieberman, Ross Lieberman, who has a 2 RBI, and Kallenberg takes a big swing and a miss on that pitch. Swinging for the fences clearly. And that brings the count to 3-2 with 2 outs. Kallenberg trying to punch one more run across here. And the curveball outside, good eye by Kallenberg, and he'll walk. So runners now back again at the corners. And now the number 4 hitter for the Wildcats steps up with 2 other ducks on the pond. Kallenberg at first. Let's see if they bring in a runner, as they did once before, but so far Kallenberg will remain at first base. And Jaden Vanderhoff remains at third, and now lefty versus lefty. Lieberman takes a fastball low in the dirt, ball 1. Benilde desperately trying to get out of this inning. Lieberman already having a great night at the plate with 2 RBIs, and he holds back on that high fastball. So 2-0 the count now to Lieberman. Tries to get an advantage on the pinch count. Flinch in there as he steps in there. Wide open baseball stance as he steps in, he swings and just misses it for strike 1. So 2 balls, 1 strike the count. Pitch on a way low. So 3-1, that's a hitter's pitch. Runners at the corners, 2 outs here. If he reaches, next up is Jake Anderley. He swings and pops that up, and it's gonna be in foul territory, but in play and leaping and diving and catching. Number 2, Henry Wolf, finally brings the 6th inning to an end, but not before the Wildcats score 3 more runs in the top of the 6th, and they lead 7-0 on 8 hits, 2 errors, and we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Red Knights are down to their last 6 outs, and they've got to get their hitting shoes on here in a hurry with 7 runs to make up to stay in the winner's bracket in the 6th AAA tournament. Boys varsity baseball. Great matchup here despite the score. There's been some great tense moments, great matchups with lots on the line. The pitching duel versus the hitter. Unfortunately for the Red Knights, it just doesn't come out in their favor. So they're gonna be looking for anything, but out on the mound taking his warm-up pitches is Jack Yonke, number 9, and he has just been spectacular. Just giving up 2 hits against the number 1 seed, and he is blanking them so far. But he will be facing the meat of the order this time up will be Mason James, number 17. Also, number 13, Zach Gordon, the number 3 hitter, and then Evan Brown, the number 4 hitter. So numbers 2, 3, and 4 to face Jack Yonke. And so basically the heart of the order for the Red Knights. So if they're gonna get something going, it's gotta start to happen right now as they face Jack Yonke, who delivers a low ball, fastball almost in the dirt, 1-0. Wind still blowing out there to right field. And the pitch, that's high. So 2 balls, no strikes. Advantage to Mason James as shadows are starting to creep onto the field here. The school situated along the left field baseline, the third base baseline, and that's a strike this time from Yonke. So 2-1 now the count to Mason James here, leading off the bottom of the 6th, and he swings and misses, and Yonke now evens at 2-2. He is in command still to lead off the 6th. 2-2 delivery, strike call, catches him looking, and that's got to be the 10th or 11th strikeout for Yonke this afternoon. As he is just cruising, and he has been a pleasure to watch on the mound. One of the best pitching performances I have seen in high school baseball being put out there by Jack Yonke for the Waconia Wildcats as he delivers a pitch and swung on there by number 13, who's the second one up here, the bottom half of the 6th. Zach Gordon, or Zach Carden, I should say, comes in batting .333. The lefty facing a 1-strike, no-ball count, and he swings and tried to hold back, but now he's in a hole at 0-2. Jack Yonke is just cruising along here. The bottom half of the 6th, 1 out on a strikeout, looking, and now quickly 2 strikes up on the number 3 hitter, and he blows by the fastball, and that's another strikeout. He is in double digits for the strikeouts. And now 2 outs quickly here in the bottom of the 6th for the Red Knights, and that brings up Evan Brown, number 22, the catcher. Pitch on away by Yonke, just outside, ball 1. That pitch is swung on, and a base hit. Nicely done there. With 2 outs, Benilde's not going away easily here, as Evan Brown, number 22, delivers the 3rd hit of the game for the Red Knights with 2 outs here. And Evan Brown is going to leave the game and give way to a pinch runner. Number 3, Matthew Hansberry, 31. Matthew Hansberry now entering in as a pinch runner. So Benilde now here with 2 outs. Frank brings up number 2, Henry Wolf, the lefty, trying to get something going here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. And the curveball misses. Ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Henry Wolf. Trying to string this game along, and he looks at strike 1 at the knees. So 1-1 the count now to Wolf. Doesn't appear there's much of a scoring threat on first base. Benilde doesn't want to run themselves out of the inning here. Down to their last 4 precious outs. It's swung on, and that ball's launched to right field, and that might have a chance. It goes back, the wind is blowing, and it is off the wall in right field. And that'll bring in number 31 to score the first run, and the ball all the way to third base, and it gets by over the third baseman. It's gonna be the inside the park home run. He comes in, and now Benilde has 2 runs, and look out, the magic is coming back for the Red Knights. I've seen them come back before when things have looked dire, and now they get 2 runs, and on an air. So the Wildcats throwing that ball around just a little bit, gives up 2 runs with 2 outs. And that is just what the Red Knights needed to give themselves a little bit of hope there. And boy, that ball, I thought that ball was out of here, and it lands against the wall in right field. What a poke there by Henry Wolf. The first baseman delivers an inside the park home run. Stay tuned, folks. This game is far from over. It's great baseball action here. And that pitch, as Yonke recovers there. No, 2 balls, no strikes now with 2 outs, nobody on, following the inside the park home run by Henry Wolf. And up to bat is number 8, Clyde Selke, and he swings, and that ball is launched out of play in right field. And I think that might have been the first vehicle casualty on that one. So the count now 2-1 with 2 outs. Clyde Selke trying to extend the 6th inning here for the Red Knights. And he swings and fouls that one back and out of play. So that one missed a car. I don't think there's any wagering on the cars, are there? No. All right, here we go. 2 balls, 2 strikes here. Yonke trying to get out of the 6th here. And he does with that strikeout. That's got to be his 11th or 12th strikeout. And Yonke recovers nicely after giving up a 2-run inside the park home run on Henry Wolf's 2-run slam launch to the right field fence. Just missed being a home run. Big tall fence out there in right field, because it is a short porch there. I just noticed that. I'm only broadcasting a few games. The right field fence is about twice as high as the fence from right center all the way down to the left field line. So that's to reflect the shortness, mostly because of the grandstand that faces the football field over there. But your score here from McQuinn Athletic Complex after 6 complete, it is 7-2 Wildcats. But Benilde scored the last 2 runs, and they're gonna have a shot here if they can just keep the deficit at 5. Here in the Wildcats, top of the 7th inning, leading off for them will be number 16, Jake Anderle. He's had a great night at the plate. He'll be followed by Dawson Martin and Will Coppy in the top half of the 7th, and they'll be facing the relief pitcher for the Red Knights, number 4, Matthew Nachbar. Nachbar having a 5.53 ERA. Still delivering some of his warm-up tosses. This will be a 2nd inning in this game as Evan Brown tosses it down to second baseman, and that means Anderle will make his way to home plate to lead off the top of the 7th. Jake Anderle steps in, looking to add to their lead here in the top of the 7th. But what was once a 7-run lead is now 5. So in the back of their mind, Waconia knows this game is not safe until it's over, so they want to add to their lead, I'm sure. Pitch on away, and that is swung on and fought off into the right field, and Shipley comes over nicely, fighting the sun there. Low trajectory ball. He had a little help. Well, no, there's no help for the Clouds there. So Shipley, maybe his 4th nice play as he faces that sun and calls off the first baseman, and very impressed by Shipley there at second base. And so with 1 out here in the top of the 7th, that brings up number 21 for the Wildcats, Dawson Martin. Had a great night at the plate. Facing Nachbar for the first time, and that ball high. So ball 1, no strikes with 1 out here. Dawson Martin, the DH. Lefty versus lefty, and that curveball comes in there for a strike. And that, from my vantage point, that has a lot of break in it. The sophomore Nachbar now 1 ball, 1 strike to Martin, and another curveball just misses high. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Nachbar trying to make quick work here of the Wildcats so they can get up and try to make up that 5-run deficit. And that pitch high, swung on and missed by Martin, chasing that one out of the strike zone. So now 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Great action here tonight in this 2nd round playoff, and that curveball misses. So 3-2 is the count. Lots of curveballs from the sophomore Nachbar. Seems to be his main pitch. Just setting up that fastball. Let's see if he brings it this time. And he does bring it, and he gets him low pitch, but they called that a strike. So Nockbar records a strikeout there for the second out of the inning. And now that brings up Will Copy, the right fielder, number 5, trying to extend the 7th inning here. Should he reach, Ben Hester, the first baseman, would be up next. So Nockbar now in relief, the sophomore. Lefty throws another curveball, misses. So ball 1. This game has had a little of everything. Suicide squeezes, stolen bases, inside the park home runs, errors, great pitching, clutch hitting. 2 balls, no strikes now, the count. 2 outs here. And that pitch is swung on and hit sharply right to the shortstop, who picks it up nicely, gets it over to first, and it's scooped out nicely there. So that play, 6-3. If you're scoring at home, Zach Corden gets it over to Henry Wolf to end the top of the 7th. And we will go to the last half of the 7th. This is it for Benilde. They've got to make up 5 runs to extend this game in the second round of the 6 AAA playoffs. If they can't manage it, they go to the loser's bracket tomorrow. If they win, they don't play till Saturday at 7 in Waconia. But I've seen this team come back many times, so but they are facing a formidable opponent in the pitcher for the Wildcats, Jack Johnson, having given up only 4 hits. Only had given up 2 hits until the last inning. But if you're Benilde, that was a little bit to build on, and let's see if they can continue that momentum. Trying to come back against the upset-minded Wildcats. And Jack Jonke on the mound. There is your score board right there. 7 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors. Little of everything here as the sun is starting to set behind the clouds in the school. So the shadows are starting to come in there. You can see along the left field baseline and into short left field. That sometimes can play tricks on the batters and the pitcher's eyes. The pitcher's kind of in the sun, the batter is not in the sun now. So sometimes the ball coming out of that sunlight into the shade can make it more difficult on the hitter. We'll see how that might play a role. As stepping in for Benilde is number 10, Kyle Klakow, senior outfielder. He'll be followed by number 6, Edward Kinnick. Last ups here for Benilde. Pitch on away. That ball misses, so 1 ball, 1 strike here. Jack Jonke on the mound there, having a great game, coming from the windup here. Number 9 pitches and swung on, and barely catching a piece of it is Klakow, staying alive now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No outs here, bottom of the 7th. Waconia trying to close out this second round playoff game here in St. Louis Park at the home of Benilde-St. Margaret. It's a big swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Jonke. That's number 12 on the night. Unbelievable performance here. And now with 1 out, that brings up Truman Kinney. Kinney now trying to get something going here in the bottom of the 7th, and that ball swung on it straight back. So 1 strike now, the count. No balls, 1 strike by Jonke. Strong contingent of fans here on hand for the Wildcats as that ball sails over the head. Bull Durham style. So the count now is 1-1. Pitch on away to Kinney and just misses outside. Jonke didn't agree with the call there. Disappointed look on his face. So the count now 2-1. Jonke going from the windup with no one on base, pitches and delivers that one down the middle, and that ball swung on in foul territory. And Hester, with his long reach there, backpedaling, able to make that catch And now the Red Knights are down to their last out, and their wily second baseman, Henry Shibley. There's the replay. Hester showing great agility there, backing up and leaning back to get that second out. And so now this is it for the Red Knights. As they look at that first pitch, and that is called a strike. And boy, that, I'll have to say, I was happy to be looking at the TV screen. That looked outside to me. But nevertheless, called a strike, and now pitched and swung on and hit to the second baseman, and he will get it over to Hester for the third out of the 7th inning, and the end of the game as the coach for Waconia comes storming out of the dugout to congratulate their pitcher, Jack Yonke, who truly was the star of this game. And the final score here from McQuinn Athletic Complex in the second round of the 6 AAA baseball playoffs. Number 5 seed Waconia upsets the number 1 seed Benilde Red Knights. And that means the Red Knights will play tomorrow at 5 o'clock right back here at the home of Benilde-St. Margaret's. Waconia will play Saturday night at 7 o'clock in Waconia. So I am Robert Christensen, and for Paul Broden, our director, producer, and everyone connected with ParkTV 16 Sports, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.